Hey folks, and welcome back to Tony and Joey's American Adventures. I'm Tony.
I'm
Joey's
Joey.
holding the camera for me. She doesn't want to be in it for some reason. So, anywho, we told you that we make our own bread and we mill our own flour to make our own bread, something we're new at doing. So, we're going to show you how we make our bread. This is a recipe that I got from another channel called Grains in Small Spaces. This lady, Cara, they live in an RV and she mills her own flour and makes all their own bread and everything. I did reach out to Cara beforehand to make sure it was okay to use her recipe and use her name. I will be putting a link to her video and to her recipe down in the description, down below there. You see where it says description? Click on that. It'll be in there. Okay? So we're going to make our own bread. It's much healthier when you have your own wheat because the stuff in the stores, when they bleach it, they add chemicals. It's a whole big thing. Look it up yourselves. You'll see. So we make our own bread. We like the fresh bread, right, babe?
I do.
It's really good. We like PB&J sandwiches. We eat a lot of those. And then, of course, Fluffernutters. We're from New England, so Fluffernutters. When you make a Fluffernutter now, you got to have the marshmallow fluff. Not that jet puff stuff, that fake, whatever that is. You need the actual marshmallow fluff. Right?
Great.
Alright. So, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to grind or mill our wheat berries into flour. Now, the way that Cara does it, she weighs it out. I usually measure like in cups, but I'm going to try it this way. The other thing I'm doing differently, I have been using 5x9 pans, but when your bread really rises like ours did the last time, your sandwich is like this big. It's just too much. So we bought some 4x8 pans, and we'll be using those, which means I use like half the amount. So I'm going to start with some hard white wheat berries. There is hard white and there's soft white. Hard white is when you're using yeast for breads and rolls and that type of thing. Soft white is for when you're going to be using baking powder for like cakes and cookies and biscuits and that type of stuff. I have an audience that you can't see. Joey's going to turn around and show you Molly staring at me on the couch. Molly's watching me.
You
Hey,
watching
Mom.
Daddy? You watching Daddy?
Alright, so anyway,
Hi, Mandy.
so now I'm going to use 485 grains of wheat berries. So we have our little scale here. It's tared to not count the bowl. And I'm going to grams. We're going to do 485 grams. Scoop this out. Seems like each cup is about 200 grams. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go about 400 with the hard white. And we're going to add some hard red. It just adds a little more flavor, more of a wheaty flavor, they say. I actually haven't tried this yet, so we're going to try it now. So another, 85 I said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm at 448. A little more. Okay, there we go. So now this goes into our grain mill. For a grain mill, we have a Nutrimill Classic. Nice, simple mill. It takes a few minutes. Not a few minutes, it'll take a minute or two to grind it. So I just... It is a little loud. But when you're done, we have fresh milled flour. Right there. So
Fantastic.
now what we're going to do, we're going to put this away and we're going to get our stand mixer out because we got to start making our bread. Alright, so now that we have our mixer out, yes, I have a KitchenAid. I know there's talk about whether a KitchenAid's good enough for making bread. I've had this thing literally, what, about 25 years? Mm-hmm. I've had this thing. It works great, so I'm going to keep using it. Till it doesn't. We'll see what happens. They say it overheats and all that. As long as, in my mind, I mean, I know a little bit about electricity and motors and stuff. Maybe a little bit, right, hon?
Just a little.
So as long as it doesn't overheat or you're not overtaxing it too much, if you notice it getting hot, stop. Mine hasn't yet to overheat. So, anywho, now, Kara's recipe calls for instant yeast. I don't have instant yeast. I use original. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to activate my yeast. And I'm going to do that because the recipe calls for 3/4 cup water, 3/4 cup milk. I'm doing 1.5 cups of milk. I hear it makes for like a lighter, fluffier bread. We're going to find out. I really don't know. This is the 3rd time I've made this bread. So I'm trying things different. I've got 3 tablespoons of butter there. It's all melted from the microwave. So I'm going to put this into my bowl, into my mixer. Okay, and then we need 1 egg. I happen to have one right here. Put that in there. And let's see, 3 tablespoons of honey. We happen to have a jar of honey here. No, Jesse, it's not your honey. You bought this in Alabama. Yours is gone.
Honey boy.
2 and 3. We'll do a little extra on this one.
Nothing wrong with that.
We need 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And 4 teaspoons of yeast. Well, first I'm going to mix all this up. Make sure that egg gets mixed in there. And get the honey mixed in. I'm taking its temperature because you don't want over like 110 degrees. Anything over 120, you're going to start killing your yeast off. So we're at like 108, so we're perfect. I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of yeast. Oh, make that 2 teaspoons. I only needed 2 teaspoons. I guess I could have used, I have 1 packet of instant. I could have used it. Okay, kind of late now, huh?
Yeah.
Alright. There's my 2. This is how I made it last time, and it rose great. Didn't it?
It did.
So I'm going to mix that in a little bit. And we're going to wait about 5 or 10 minutes for the yeast to activate. With all that honey in there and that warm milk, it should activate rather quickly. Alright, so the yeast has definitely proofed or activated. You can see all the bubbliness. That good bubbliness. I don't know what to call it. What do you call it, honey?
I don't know. Bubbliness is That works.
All right, so now we're going to add the flour. We have our freshly milled flour in here. And we don't have to measure it out because, you know, we went by weight this time. So I'm going to put a couple cups in here and then start mixing it in. With my trusty KitchenAid.
And Peter butter.
That's all the flour. We're going to let that mix in, and then once it's mixed, we're going to start kneading, which is basically we're still mixing it. Alright, so if you look in there, you'll see everything's pretty well mixed up now. Now we're going to knead this, which is just doing this for about 20 minutes.
But we won't show you all 20 minutes of that.
No?
Nah.
Alright.
We'll see you in about 20 minutes.
In about 20 minutes.
You're on.
Okay, so there's our dough. Supposed to do a window pane test. I've never actually done it. I've seen people do it, so we're going to try it, but I mean, it looks pretty good to me. So what you're supposed to do is pick it up and stretch it to see if it's like a window pane, if you can see through it. Actually, oh, it's ripping, but it is pretty light. I can see light through it while it's ripping. We're going to call that good. So there's our dough right there. Now we're going to cover it for like an hour or so, and hopefully it doubles up in volume. That's it. Be back.
While we wait, we'll take care of the girls. Go.
Okay, so we're back. Our bread has been rising, or the dough's been rising for about an hour, and we have definitely doubled in size. Yay! So now, what we got to do, we got to cut those in half. I got to put it on here, cut it in half, and then put it in my two loaf pans here, which I have parchment paper. So I'm going to put a little bit of flour on the board. A little flour on my hands. I'm going to drop that on there, hopefully. Come on. It's sticking to the pan. Not too bad though. Most of it come out.
Excellent.
Alright, that's enough. Alright, there's our nice dough. Get back in there. There we go. Alright, now, we're going to have to cut this in half. I'm going to need a knife. Bet I got one up here somewhere. Alright, so, we have our dough. We've got to kind of figure out a half of this. Think about there?
It looks good.
Alright, now we're going to roll these up. I really don't know what I'm doing, so if anybody that really knows what they're doing wants to comment, feel free. This one is bigger. A little bit.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, if anyone wants to comment that knows what they're doing, go ahead. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'm a novice bread maker.
Yeah, but he's really good at it.
Good at being a novice?
Yeah, it's tasty.
It is. It comes out good. Alright, so roll that up. That's a nice surface there. Now we're going to take our pans. In said pan, like so. All good?
Looks good.
And we'll take this one and put it in said pan, like so. And now these also have to sit for 40 or 50 minutes. And we're going to see if we can have them rise up.
Okay.
I don't mean rise up like, like a bread revolution. You're like, argh! No, let the dough rise.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So we're going to cover these up. And in about 40-50 minutes, we'll have them. You can see in the background, I've been making chicken and dumplings today. It's been cooking all day, smelling really good in here. I actually milled soft white wheat berries today to make my dumplings.
We can't wait to dig into this one.
So we're going to be digging into that. There's my chicken and my dumplings made with soft white wheat berries. So we're going to dig into that in a few minutes while we're waiting for that to rise. We'll be back. Alright, it's been what, like 40-50 minutes? Maybe an hour? I don't know. Something like that, right?
Right.
So here's the bread. As you can see, we got everything cleaned up. Joey got everything cleaned up. I won't do it. Anyway, so here's our bread. It's rose up. The bread has risen. Ta-da!
That looks great.
So now we got to put them in the oven. We have a 350 degree oven here. Now, just so everyone knows, you can do stuff in an RV. We're baking bread. I made chicken and dumplings today. This is all in our RV. It's like, you can do this. You don't, when we told people that we're going in an RV and we're going to be traveling, people just assuming like we're going to restaurants every night. We can't afford that. So we do a lot of cooking. Our fridge is full. Our cupboards are full. I cook a lot. Right?
Right.
You find like local markets. We found a local butcher shop the other day. Oh my gosh, the meats are amazing. Anyway, let's put these in the oven. We've got a 350 degree oven. So, and they'll be in there for about half an hour. Then we'll take them out, and then you'll see fresh bread. Well, it's been about 25 minutes or so, roughly. And the bread is done. I just took its temperature. Weird. So here's our loaves of bread.
Boy, they rose up.
They rose nicely. Nice and golden brown. So there's our 2 loaves of bread. I'm going to pull them out of the pans and put them on a cooling rack. They are warm. I'll give them that. So here they are, 2 loaves of bread. These are with the 4x8 pans. This loaf was done with the 9x5 pan. There's a little bit of a size difference.
Yep.
This one actually rose even higher. So this was the last batch I did. I did 9x5, and this batch I did the 4x8, which I think is a good size.
More reasonable sandwich size.
This made huge sandwiches.
I couldn't even put them in the toaster. They were so big.
Yeah, the bread doesn't fit the toaster. So I think we'll stick with this, which actually uses like half the amount of grain as this does to make 2 of these. Smells wonderful. Here. Can you smell it?
They don't have smell-o-vision.
Oh, well, why not? Alright, so here's our loaves of bread. We'll be back when they cool down because we're going to show you. Well, you're going to have to watch us eat them. Alright, I think the bread is cool. Ooh, it's still warm. But that's okay. We're going to cut into it. It's got a very nice crumb, as you can see. That actually came out really well.
Yeah.
It's still very warm, so it's cutting very easy.
Good, it'll melt the butter perfectly.
There you go. There's a better shot of the crumb on that. Look at that.
Bring it closer. Perfect.
So I'll have all you that know what you're doing, tell me what you think of that crumb. Looks good to me. So we're going to try this bread now. Of course, you got to have butter on it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have Joey try it first. She won't show you herself, though.
Perfect.
Is it as good as the other one or better?
Better.
I'm
Better.
very pleased with it.
Yep.
That's going to make some really good PB&Js and Fluffernutters. And toast. That'll fit in the toaster.
Right?
Alright, so we told you we make our own bread. We grind or mill our own flour. And that's how we do it. It comes out pretty good. Those of you that know what you're doing, if you think I did something wrong, tell me in the comments. If you like it, tell me in the comments. Those that don't know what you're doing, you have questions about milling or baking bread or anything, put it in the comments. We'll answer it, right?
Right?
Once again, I want to thank Cara from Grains in Small Spaces for allowing me to use her recipe and mention her. And I guess that's going to do it from this exciting episode of Tony and Joey's American Adventures. Y'all know what to do. Like, comment, thumbs up, share the video, try some bread, tell it, not our bread, this is ours. Make your own and tell us what you think. And comment. That's a big one. So, once again, from the road, God bless everybody.